I'm with a group of friends, and this guy on a bike literally rolls up on his bike. There's like a railing where there are tables and the railing and then the street. Rolls up, stops at the railing, takes one look at me, and is like, "Damn, girl, let's get married. There's a bridal boutique down the road. Let's go. Like, I want to marry you." And
Hey guys, we're back with another episode. We've got someone super exciting here today. It's Jessie. She's got all these credentials going behind her. She actually went to Pratt College, which I knew nothing about, but when Sal heard about it, he lit up and he was like, "What?" Because apparently it's a great art school. Yeah. And building off of that, Jessie, while being a full-time nanny, works as an illustrator and a graphic designer. I know you work a lot with like tabletop game communities, and I know you've been designing character profiles and all, so we're definitely going to want to hear all about that.
For sure.
And on top of that, Jessie actually grew up in Jakarta, so I can't wait to hear just about,
and guys,
life like that. And I'm sure
before we get into all that
we can share.
And before we get into all that spicy stuff, guys, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. I plug this shit every single time, yet none of you guys are doing it.
I mean,
dude,
I'm sure they are.
Listen, I did.
Yaar, please.
I did it before I did.
Oh,
look at
you
that.
Did? Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
we're growing at a steady
amazing.
pace, guys. We're growing at a steady pace. We're pretty proud of what we have so far. So yeah, guys, in order to support us even more, just hit that like and subscribe button down below. Jessie, what's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a great Saturday.
It is, right?
It is a good Saturday.
It's actually a good Saturday.
Yeah. So
what counts as a good Saturday for you?
A Saturday where I wake up early, but like naturally wake up early and not. I have to go.
What's early for you? What's early for you?
I wake up typically on a weekday at 6:50.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So today,
7 a.m.
Sleeping in was 8 o'clock.
Yo, dude, that's crazy to me. I hear all these stories about people waking up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever. And then there's my ass waking up at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and I'm like, okay.
If you had told me, like, how long have I been a nanny for? 3 years. If you had told me 3 years ago that I'd be waking up at 6:50 in the morning and then taking care of 3 little kids, I would have laughed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you told me that on my days off, that I'd be waking up at 8 o'clock, I would have laughed harder because
The weekdays are your days off?
Weekdays are my weekends. I flubbed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
No, if you told me that on my days off that I'd be waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I was sleeping in, I wouldn't believe you. I'd be like, that's the wrong Jessie. But here I am.
That's life. I just hope it doesn't happen to me.
Tell us about your nanny life.
Nanny life is good. It's hard. Funnily enough, when you were talking about Jakarta, that's the reason I kind of got my nannying job. I made a profile on this website, care.com.
Craigslist?
Basically, it's Craigslist for nannies and pet sitters and house sitters. Where you need people to take care of things. So care.com is this, I guess this is an unofficial
That's
plug.
nice.
Yeah.
That's
You
nice.
should be paying.
It's like the Fiverr. It's like the Fiverr of nanny.
It's like the Fiverr of nannies. Yeah, I still get messages on care.com, even though I haven't logged on in 3 years. That they're like, "Hey, can you are you free to do this?"
That's
thing?
amazing.
And I'm like, "No, I'm fully employed. Thanks."
Yeah.
But in my bio, I listed all I used to work as a summer camp counselor. More stories there, and I listed my languages as like English and Indonesian because I'm fluent in Indonesian. And I actually 3 parents came back at me at roughly like within a week, and they all knew each other. And one of the parents was like, "You seem really interesting. Also, how do you know Indonesian? My husband worked at Indonesia." And I was like, "Oh wow, hey, I'm half Indonesian."
So what's the other half?
That works.
The other half is American. My dad's from Malone, New York, which is about an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes away from here. I like to say that he's whiter than
We got a lot of mixed babies coming through, don't we, Salman? Like on this podcast, we got a lot of people who are like, half and half, quarter this, quarter that. And then there's our asses, fucking full Pakistani,
it's the way
desi
of the
blood.
Well, yeah. No, it's the world. I love the fact that there's always like something interesting you learn about everyone whenever people come through.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're gonna like drag something out of you, Jesse, before you leave.
We already have. Jesse, tell us about the pizza proposal story.
About Indonesia.
No, pizza proposal story first, bro. Pizza proposal story.
Right.
That needs to be told.
Okay, the pizza proposal. That should be the name of the story.
It is.
Pratt Institute, for those who don't know, is a pretty big. It's a big art school in Brooklyn, but there's a sister like satellite school in Utica, New York.
That nobody gives a shit about. That everybody wants to transfer out of soon.
Well, okay, everyone wants to transfer out of, but even
sure, it's not that bad.
Well, even the professors agree that like because there's nothing to do in Utica, you get really good at art really fast because that's all you do. Throwing some shade. It was great, but a weird time in my life. So I was in Utica for 2 years before I transferred to Brooklyn, and my freshman year in Utica, New York, I was at Palermo's about to take.
Where's that?
It's a pizza place.
Okay, this is famous. Okay.
Never seen it outside of Utica. It had really good.
Neither have I.
Yeah, it had really. I used to go there for a slice of pepperoni pizza, and they had really good like chocolate cream pies.
Oh, sounds so good.
It was so good, and we would go at like 11 o'clock at night because they closed at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And sorry, my roommate just walked in.
Happens.
And
hello.
Gotta close that door.
I mean, I might as well just say hello.
I know. Not that he can hear you because headphones.
I know.
You'll never know.
He'll know when he sees the fucking podcast. He'll know when he watches this episode.
Well, no. Now I'm just gonna send it to him and be like, "Hey, guess what? You're in this."
Yeah.
So I was in Palermo's pizza place. It was 11 o'clock at night. I'm with a group of friends, and this guy on a bike literally rolls up on his bike. There's like a railing where there are tables and the railing and then the street. Rolls up, stops at the railing, takes one look at me, and is like, "Damn, girl, let's get married. There's a bridal boutique down the road. Let's go. Like, I want to marry you." And I am. You know when you're at a restaurant and the server comes over and asks, "How's your meal?" and you are like mouthful of food. That was me with the slice of pizza, just like, what? I'm sorry. Excuse me? My response was, "Can I just finish my slice of pizza first?"
Yeah.
I was really hungry. It's 11 o'clock at night.
I mean, no, that's understandable.
You're broke?
I'd take pizza over marriage at this point in my life.
Yeah. Nothing.
Up to this point, Salman has chosen pizza every time over marriage.
Yeah.
give me 10 years and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. But goddamn, dude. Number one, I admire that guy's balls to come up. If he wasn't drunk or high. If he wasn't drunk or high, I admire his balls to just straight up come up to you and ask you to marry you, dude. If he's watching, dude, applaud to you, dude. That takes some serious balls.
Hello, random Palermo pizza guy. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Man, so I feel like you relate too much to this guy.
I do
too much for me to be comfortable about it.
Nah, dude. I think it's the most amazing thing ever. Talking to random people on the street, my type of thing.
I mean, yeah, for sure. So, as long as like if someone's
proposing to random people on the street.
Been there, done that, bro. Been there, done that. It's always it's all fun and games.
That's fair, and it makes for good stories. Look at that.
It does.
Who knows? That guy must have been me. But then again, I've never been to New York. If you told me if it was anywhere in Pakistan, I would have been like that. There's a high chance that's me, but no, it's not possible. That was in New York. But yeah, Indonesia. Salman, take over the Indonesian talk.
Yeah. Okay. I want to hear about Indonesia. Just give us like a rundown of the vibe. I know that's a very non-specific question that means almost nothing.
I mean,
but really, let's hear a bit about it.
Yeah, I grew up in Jakarta, which is the capital of Indonesia.
Also, the Instagram filter.
It's also an Instagram filter, which I did.
Yes.
I remember actually coming across that Instagram filter like years ago and going like, oh my gosh, it's Jakarta.
It's actually one of my favorite filters. It brings up the contrast a lot and the sharpness. It's actually one of my favorite filters.
Dude, this is such a hard sidetrack. Like an Instagram filter and a country. Just no.
But yeah, so I grew up in Jakarta, the capital, and I feel like at least maybe times have changed. But back when I was working at a summer camp, and also when I was a camper at a summer camp, whenever I mentioned that I lived in Indonesia, people were like, oh, it's like a small town in the jungle. I managed to convince a girl that I rode elephants to school. Like
camels here. Camels here. Yeah, camels in the desert over here.
I always have to be like, no, it's like New York City, but instead of like, it's like New York City, but 1,000 times more densely populated. Like,
oh shit.
There are.
That's saying a lot.
It's super. There's a lot of people. I always like that in the U.S. at least with malls tend to expand outwards, whereas like in Indonesia or in any major city, malls expand upwards. So we have like, there's a mall I remember going to.
Like Karachi, Salman. Like Karachi, like
it sounds like Karachi.
Continue.
No, there's a mall that you have to ride an escalator that skips 5 levels to get to the movie theater. So. Okay. The movie theater.
So there's a lot of So there's a lot of vertical expansion in the city.
There's a lot of vertical expansion.
Yeah. Makes sense. That happens when the area is really densely populated and there's no more area left to expand outwards. So people go upwards.
Exactly.
I'm assuming parking garages are all like those fucking plazas with like, where you have to just like go around and everything, and there's no space to park your cars on the street. Instead you have to park
all the streets are like here in the States. I'm like, everyone in the States is so spoiled because there's room for like 4 cars in the street. And like it's like 2 cars that barely fit, and then the motorcycles like weaving through them, and bajais trying to act like motorcycles.
What's a bajai?
So a bajai is what do you call it?
Is it trike? Is it a trike?
Like a rickshaw?
Yeah, like a tuk-tuk.
Yeah, a rickshaw.
Yeah.
So we call it rickshaw over here.
Yeah. We got all this.
Interesting. So you call it a bajai. How do you spell it?
Bajaj.
So you say Bajaj.
You would say Bajaj, cool. But it's Bajai.
Yeah. Bajai. Okay.
Because there's a lot of there's a lot of J's that turn into Y's in Indonesia. So Jogjakarta would be Yogyakarta. So Jogja is like another place. But yeah, it's spelled.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, Jogja? What's Jogja?
Yeah, so a lot of Y's are J's and a lot of J's are Y's.
Honestly, okay, so I'm in Chicago right now, right? And everyone complains about driving and the traffic. And I mean, growing up in Pakistan, it's like, no, Chicago traffic is nice. Everyone here is calm.
Yeah.
At most, someone's screaming out their window, but you guys have like massive roads. Everyone's following the rules. Like, one thing about, like, Islamabad in particular is that, okay, if you have a big road, you have a lot of lanes, but each lane marking will have 2 cars, like, just stuck in it. Like, there's no reason for 2 cars to be in there. You've got lots of space.
Yeah.
But just, like, people are creatures of nature, and they'll just be like, okay, we're going to fit as many cars into whatever space we can.
People are like, I don't care what the rules are. Like, I need to get to my location, so I'm going to get to my location.
Mm-hmm.
Even if
I love that vibe, man. I love that vibe.
I love it
like the whole fuck everything.
Sad. I think I'm learning things about you.
Dude, I'm a pretty spontaneous guy. What can I say?
Sounds a great character.
I'm a pretty great character. I am. All right, continue.
But yeah, I went.
So that's Jakarta.
That's Jakarta. That's like the typical.
Sounds nice.
Vibe. There are like legitimate like suburbs, which are still fairly packed. I think my favorite thing, or not one of my favorite things, or sorry, not my favorite thing, but I always thought was really funny was, so it floods a lot because it's the tropics. You get hot, you get the monsoon season, and you get the dry season. And when it's monsoon season, it's monsoon season. And Jakarta is also slowly going underwater. Fun times.
Oh shit! Climate change is fucking it up as well.
Oh yeah. The flooding this year has been really bad because the rains have been really bad.
Dude, Jessie, dude, we have a city over here, Karachi. It's literally, I don't know, 10 feet underwater right now.
Yeah.
As we speak.
Not 10 feet, but it's very much completely flooded.
Have you seen the fucking underpasses? Dude, I'll send you the picture of an underpass, bro. It's filled to the brim.
I've seen some. Okay, you've got a point. There's a lot of water. Not because the city is sinking, as far as I can tell, just because the city.
No drainage system.
I think the drainage is off.
They just don't have a drainage system. Yeah.
Very like drainage.
The city's on the sea, so it's not like the sea level's like rising up. It's like the streets have water, and the water has no way of getting to the sea.
Yeah,
it's just.
Here in the States, we get like snow days. In Indonesia, we would get flood days.
Amazing. Does everybody have a boat? Since I'm assuming it happens often, does everybody have a boat?
No.
In their house with a car? Ah, shit.
I wish. I mean, there are like, I remember, so we lived in an area called Kemang, which is, there were like a couple major areas. Pondok Indah was one, and it was closer to where I went to high school and middle school. Kemang is a little more suburby. It's not, it's where, like, there are some expats, but it was still, when expats were moving in there, the expats were mostly going to Pondok Indah. Expats being expatriates, so like international people. My parents, because my mom is Indonesian, they settled in the Kemang region area more. And I remember whenever it always floods on my mom's birthday. That's fact number one. Her birthday is February 2nd. Always floods. Awful flooding on her birthday. There was one year where it flooded really badly, where our house was basically in an area that was higher than everyone else. So we were, like, my dad couldn't go to work. I have a little brother. He and I couldn't go to school. We were like, how are we going to get cake supplies for your birthday? Because everyone's still acting, like, going about their normal day. It's just harder to reach places. And we went to...
Same. Yeah. Literally, there's so many similarities.
The world never stops.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you're saying... No. If it happened in the US, the fucking city would be shut down, frozen, nobody would be moving.
We went to...
Whatever you're saying, it happens in third world countries, and trust me, I'm pretty sure, dude, your story is the exact same as Karachi's right now.
Yeah.
Like, literally, whatever you're saying can be applied to another city straight up from, like, even to the tiniest of details.
Yeah, like, I feel like my story can apply to most, like, tropical or, places that have a lot of rainfall.
Have you heard of Tuvalu?
No.
Tuvalu is the least visited country on the planet.
Well.
It is literally a strip of land. It is literally just a strip of land in the middle of the ocean.
Is the country, though? Is it affected by tide?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, it is. Because it's the first country that will be, that will sink because of climate change. Like, it's going. It's literally just a single strip of land. So there's only one fucking road going through Tuvalu. That's what from the drone shots I saw.
Oh my God.
And in the widest part, they have an airport. Like a small airstrip where only one jet lands every 3 days. And the rest of the days... because nobody fucking goes to Tuvalu. And the rest of the days, it's a playground for kids. So that was pretty interesting to me. Like, it is. Imagine an airstrip, a playground.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
Okay, Jessie, now on to your professional life, because we're 18 minutes in and we really gotta fucking cover that shit. What do you do, girl?
All right, so I am a full-time nanny, as I said. Basically 9 to 5 job, just shifted 8 to 4 job. But I also freelance illustrate and graphic design on the side. I got involved.
Oh, so that's a side job?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a main job.
No, I mean, my main job, dealing with 3 small children, is definitely my main job. But it got to the point where, I was doing decently on, like, I was able to supplement, like, extra income with commissions and stuff.
Nice.
Before coronavirus, which is fine. It's okay,
COVID fucked me up too. Don't worry, girl. We'll talk about post-COVID distress after the podcast ends, because I have a lot of stories to tell you from my side.
All right.
So continue.
But yeah, so no, it's what I do when I went to school. So it's all cyclical. When I went to Pratt Institute, a few of my teachers said, like, if you are sleeping, then you're doing art wrong. Like, you need to be eating, breathing, like, just.
I disagree.
Consuming art. I also hardcore disagree. And that's what happened was I got so burnt out after college that I didn't draw for 2 years. I found this nanny job.
You end up hating your craft.
You just get really burnt out. Like, I worked really hard, and then it was like, if you don't get a graphic design job or an illustration job, it's like, well, I worked really hard, and like clearly I'm still not good enough, which is an awful mindset to be in. But I managed to get this nannying job, and I had really supportive families that I was working for. And during my off times, because I've been working for this family since their son was 6 months old. He's now 4.
Wow.
It's
cool.
amazing.
Watching a kid grow up.
It's amazing. Like, I watched the birth of I didn't watch the birth of his sister, but I was there. Like, it's been an amazing experience. But they also let me during his nap times, and just like in general, I was able to work on art on the side and like get back into art on my own terms. And my friend from college, my roommate from college, he's basically my brother, contacted me 2 years ago, and this was 2 years after I graduated, or a year after I graduated, where I was just done with art, and was like, hey, I'm starting this TTRPG stream, so tabletop community stream, and I'd love you to do the logo and the art for it, because he had always loved my art. And I was like, sure, it's been a while, but like, I'm game. And like, that honestly kick-started my
set you up.
Yeah, it was, well, because I'd always loved doing portraits. Like, I love drawing people's faces and drawing people's hands.
I've seen your shit.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was just, it gave me this outlet to do that, and to be able to do it in time off, and like, so I started doing it, and people started noticing me. Other people in the TTRPG community who were in the Discord, or I joined other Discords.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, isn't it? You just need one client, and then from that one client, you get 15 different referrals.
Yeah.
And then you just live off of referrals. It's crazy how you just need that one golden client.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Like, and it's amazing what, like, if you go out of your, so I'd never done a Twitch overlay before, and I started doing them for my friend Anders. Shout out, Anders. I started doing them for him, and I was like, wow, this is really fun. Like, I really enjoy like laying out these videos for people, or these overlays, and like incorporating different elements into them. And so I started like offering my services. I was like, hey, if you need an overlay, like, let me know. And then it was like, hey, I'd like a new overlay, I'll pay you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I was just doing this for fun. But sure, let's go. Or like, there was one game. This was a pretty cool experience where we were sharing characters, and I shared some art that I had done of there's home games and they're like stream games. So home game is just a personal game like D&D or whatever. And I shared some portraits that I had done, and this person in the group was like, I've been looking for someone to commission for years, and I've never found anyone. I love your art. Can I commission a portrait of myself from you? Because I think your art is what I really like. And I did it. And from that one portrait commission, I got 5 more in the same style. Because people saw it and they were like, this is really cool. I would like this.
Compound effect, baby.
It's amazing.
Compound effect. The success keeps compounding.
Yeah.
Guys,
that must feel so nice when someone's like, this is beautiful, I want to pay you to do it.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's also like, you don't need to struggle and like break your back doing something.
Do you know what's the biggest fucking piece of horseshit that I've heard in the art community?
What?
You have to be hungry, and you have to be struggling in order to be an artist. Fuck you, bitch.
Exactly.
I'd rather make millions of dollars. I'd rather be well fed. I'd rather be happy and make art and have a kick-ass business. I'd rather get this done.
I had a professor who basically said that, and I was like, that is such a toxic mindset. Because
that's with all professors in my university as well. Fuck them. Fuck you guys.
You get exhausted, you get burnt out, and like, you are totally capable of creating art. And like, yes, bills need to be paid, and like, not all art is fun. It is work. Like, I think the biggest misconception and I know it's changing, but like, so many times I'll see something or someone will see a picture and they're like, oh my goodness, you could turn that, like you could draw that could be your art. And I'm like, if I wanted to draw photorealism, I would just take a picture. Like art is hard work. It's not something I'd like, oh, you can just do that. Like you want to do it, you want to feel good about it, you want to take your time. But like it's also a lot of hard work.
It is, and you should be paid accordingly.
And you should be paid for it.
Accordingly.
Yeah.
Not just paid for it. Accordingly.
Paid well.
All right, guys. Well. And on that bombshell.
Hold up.
What the fuck? What the fuck, bro?
Okay, I know it's been a long episode, but Jessie, you told me that you will tell us about the honeycomb gang, and then you told me nothing about what they are.
We can talk about it after the episode. We can talk about it after the episode.
No, I want to know about the honeycomb gang right now.
Before the episode ends. So this is another quick. This is a really quick story, but it's another Utica episode. Tales from Utica, where I had a group of friends in Utica, and no one had cars. Basically no one had cars. We were just walking all over the place. And public transportation isn't the most reliable, so they had to walk to a grocery store, and they were coming back with like bags full of groceries, and there was a pack of kids who saw them and saw in their grocery bags that they had honeycomb cereal, which is a type of cereal that you can get here in the States.
Yeah,
looks like honeycombs.
And I like honeycomb.
They yelled at my friends, "Those are honeycombs!" and chased my friends, like trying to get the honeycomb cereal. And my friends were like,
next vacation destination, Utica, New York. Fuck it.
My friends were like, is this really happening? Oh, this is really happening. Like they almost got their honeycomb cereal stolen. They ended up running to security. But I wasn't there with them. I met them like at dinner that night, and they were like aghast. They were like, oh my god, we almost had our cereal stolen by the honeycomb gang. And we were like, who's the honeycomb gang? Like these kids, they wanted to take our honeycomb cereal.
Kids these days. And on that bombshell, guys, we are done with today's episode. Salman, are you happy now? 27 minutes in.
I'm happy.
Okay, great. Guys, the retention better be good in this episode. Yeah, thank you so much for joining in.
Subscribe.
Please, kar do,
and
please.
See you all next time.
Peace, adios, goodbye.